to a new episode and reamped episode of Cavalier Family. This podcast is doing a little, critiquing on the flow of each episode, as we want to make sure that we provide you guys with as much information of the years that we go through as possible. So with that in mind, we did have a team meeting and we discussed, what can we do to make the show better for you guys? And with that, this is the first show of that new layout. So please be patient with us. And as majority of you already know, we are an independent studio, and on the podcast of each month, we will be discussing life's entertainment, where each month is a different year and each week will be a different topic. So for an example, this week will be the top TV shows. Next week, you guys will have the top cartoons. And the week after that, music, and so on and so forth. We would like to thank, of course, as usual, Kevin Holmes, who did the intro and outro, Justin Dye, who created a majority of and many of the musical elements for us, as well as our researcher, Stephen Dawson, too. A little bit of the updates here. We are officially on iHeartRadio, as we can be found on many other of the podcasts platforms as well, such as Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon Music, all of those. And of course, the one way that you guys can show support is by visiting our store, which the description will be down below, where you guys can, of course, purchase a t-shirt. All funds go towards the independent filming as well as, this podcast. And with that in mind, let's go ahead and jumpstart to the other gentleman that's part of me and part of the show. We have Anderson, who's actually on the left side of the screen. I don't know if I'm left on his, but, it's left. And then on the bottom there, we have Mr. Stephen Dawson. We'll go, of course, in order. Anderson, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, guys. Let's talk about
it. Stephen, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, man?
Well, I can't thank you guys enough for actually taking this journey along with me and along with this podcast and, providing inputs. And, let's try and give one hell of a show at that.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, we're going to skip out any updates as far as movies, anything like that. Again, new segment, new style. So let's just go ahead and jump back in time.
Back in time.
Now, we are sitting here in 1948. I know it's a random ass year, as majority of the times that we've done years have been the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, but wanted to take a deeper dive into the 40s, really. A couple of fun facts is, number one, the fact that, let's see here, President Truman during this time period, he signed an executive order, order number 9981, which ended racial segregation in the United States Armed Forces. And of course, that was actually big. You have Roe here, who is actually in the Armed Forces, not going to say which one, but how has that changed? Have you seen any big differences in the changing as far as Armed Forces since you joined and from where it was during this time period?
Most definitely. I mean, it's, everything has evolved. Things have changed. Can I say America as a whole still has some growing up to do when it comes to, segregation and other things like that. We're evolving. Still takes time, but we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, I would kind of pretty much agree with that. The one benefit, though, is the fact that if you look at every single other country, look at how many times that they've actually had to change their government, though, as far as reforming it and, changing things. And we've always, like you said, it's ever growing and ever changing. We've changed it, but we've basically stayed the same system of government, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. All right. So on this episode, of course, we'll be talking about the top TV shows. And the top TV shows, do either of you guys want to do it, or you want me to take over?
You got it.
Of course, I would take the first one. Thank you. All right.
Ladies first.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. It's so sweet. So the top TV show of 1948, this is coming from IMDb. Number one was the Ed Sullivan Show. Unfortunately, I don't remember the time period, or I never actually seen any of the Ed Sullivan Show, but I can honestly just say that a lot of us probably have heard of it or know of it. It is a classic primetime variety show, most famous for its acts, rock music performances. I know Elvis debuted there. And that was really the start of talk shows. I know in the shows of 1948, it debuted Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis performing along with singer Monica Lewis, Broadway composer Richard Rogers, and Oscar Hammerstein II. They were previewing a score to their the new show South Pacific. Obviously, South Pacific did become a movie, and I believe it's still going on, right?
Never seen it.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
But do you guys know if it's still on Broadway?
Not a clue.
No idea.
Okay.
I'm not a Broadway.
Hey, I mean, we thought you would know. You're the one with the gray, so.
Oh, shots taken. I didn't. Let me tell you, stress with work, it happens. But then again, like your complexion, I don't think you've aged since the last decade. So let's just put it at that. Well,
I'm a vampire.
Apparently. I mean, I guess the new TikTok thing is you either have like fangs as a vampire, right? Or like something else. I guess that's a new trend that's going on.
Hey, at least I don't glitter though.
Yeah, please don't glitter. Let's see. Number two, I guess, was Studio One. It was a pinnacle of the golden age of television. Studio One presented a wide range of memorable dramas and received 18 Emmy nominations and 5 wins during its prestigious 9-year run on CBS. But actually, I forgot to do something, and that is actually discuss, the Ed Sullivan Show. Have you guys seen any of the episodes besides the one I sent the link to? Like, do you guys know of it?
No.
Isn't that's where they first showed Elvis, but they only showed him waist up, right?
I believe
because
so.
It was too scandalous.
Yes.
Okay, I've seen that clip. The animals, I think, during the British invasion, I think they were on Ed Sullivan's show. I might be off on that one, or maybe it was the Beatles.
The Beatles probably. I don't know the animal.
House of the Rising Sun.
Okay, Ro knows. Rising Sun.
It's random. I know. Like you travel, you hear things, and I don't know much about them. Just small things, just here and there. Through passing, nothing definite.
You don't know the House of the Rising Sun?
Animals? No.
You booked a sun.
All right. That's bad.
That sounds bad.
I was gonna say no. That's definitely them right there.
Are they like more rock, like back in that time period, like metal rock, or?
Oh yeah, this song.
Yes. Okay.
I was like, "There's no way." I'm positive we don't want to get booted off. I don't know how much I can play before it freaks out. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay.
That song we could play 5 seconds of, and then you'd be like, "I know that."
Yeah. Once we get to the episode where like it counts as a music, I have no idea. But yeah, no, I do know that song. So
I'm pretty sure they were on Sullivan.
Well, all I know is from Ed Sullivan is like even movies nowadays, if there's like a TV show or like for example, Joker. I can't the movie The Joker, was he more Don Letterman or was he more Sullivan?
Who was it?
The movie The Joker. Like the
The latest one, the one that just came out.
yeah, with Joaquin Phoenix. Like they have the new show on there with I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. From Meet the Foxers, Taxi Driver, Goodfellas.
The TV show
other one.
that he went on, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that he went on and he
Ended
they
up
kind
shooting
of
the guy.
clown. Yeah, they
Yeah.
ended up clowning him on there.
Yeah, I think that was. I mean, would we say that was more Ed Sullivan, or would that be later on like Don Letterman?
I haven't seen the movie.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna kill me with these movies, man.
Dude, you have to see Joker.
I know everybody tells me that's on the list, man.
So I guess number 2 is Studio One. I personally have never heard of it at all. I guess it was a major thing during that time period. And when I look at it, I'm looking up like the images and stuff from it. And it honestly, that's right. So with Studio One, it seemed to be a TV show, but also had like musical elements to it. Is what I gathered from it. Obviously, I wish I could talk more about it, but from my understanding with the link to it, the one thing I got from it was very much a basic studio as it says in its name, but it was more of like musical aspects to it because there's a lot of singing to it, if I remember correctly, and if I'm not getting things a little mixed up here, because I mean, have you guys heard of it at all or no?
No, but that TV show you were talking about, it was something Murray Franklin.
Yeah.
That's the TV show that the Joker was trying to go on.
Yeah.
So were you saying, is it more Leatherman or?
So basically the atmosphere, like the look that it was going for.
I would it was more Saturday Night Live ish.
And I did say Don Letterman, I meant David Letterman.
David Letterman.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't from the looks of it, I pulled it up. It was, like 3 people on stage. So like I would say Don Letterman, isn't it like one-on-one?
Now David Letterman was very similar to like Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon.
Oh,
stuff like that.
So you can say that's the route that they were going.
Yeah, because because Joker, I think, takes place doesn't take place in the 70s, right? I don't think. Well, unless if I could be incorrect. Either way, that's a discussion for another show.
Another time.
Since one of the 3 of us haven't seen it yet. And that's going off on not knowing if you've seen it, Ro. So
no, I have seen it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so one out of the 3 of us haven't seen it yet. So we can always have a discussion later and get his opinions on it. Maybe one of the hot topics or hot takes that we do. For
this is why I got. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
This is why I got kicked off of the movie watch list at work.
Okay, that's that's fair. So number 3 is the Philco television Playhouse. It looks like it was a live dramatic series, featured original stories and adaptations and novels, plays. I don't know if I should try to pronounce it, but I'm going to try and attempt. Plays, and then it's at Satira during its 8-year run. So with that, the Philco television show,
Hold on. Etc.
Is that what?
Yeah, that's just ET
Ah,
feet, etc.
What did he say?
He said, Satara? Satara? I'm sorry.
all right. So,
Blooper reel.
well, not even a blooper reel, really. It's at this point, it's going to be on the show anyways. So, okay. So I was possibly incorrect on the last one. It looks like this one might be the one that did short stories or short clips. Obviously, whoever is you guys who are listening via obviously podcast or YouTube, if it's something that you guys seen, like call me out on it, like how Steven called me out on etc., because obviously I'm used to the etc rather than the actual pronunciation of the word, so there's that. So yeah, just let us know if you've seen it. Do we have the description right? What more could we like bring to the information piece on that? Because we're going off of the year that we have no idea about. Unfortunately, we weren't alive during that time period to actually know anything. So we're just trying to learn everything, and that's the whole part of the show, is to learn and to grasp all the information as possible. And with that in mind, of course, we jump to number 4, which is a gentleman that we all know. We all grew up watching at some point, one or another. This dude has had maybe 8 adaptations, maybe. And that is actually 1948 Superman, based on a DC comic book that has hit the shelves, has been famous throughout, for centuries, basically. Or should I say decades? Yeah, let's go with decades, since I kind of butchered the etc. thing, so I'll just say decades. Mr. Kirk Lynn sets a heroic standard for generations to come as Superman, the Man of Steel, in these fun multi-chapter cliffhanger adventures. Obviously, it was a mini TV show as well. Stephen, would you be able to bring up that video and play a little bit of the beginning of it? Just because of the fact that even back then, I want to showcase on how strong the music element was back then, and how.
You want me to just play the sound or flip to screen share?
I know. Just go ahead and play the song, play the opening credits to it with the music to it. Because again, just want to be able to share the actual music from there, because even then it was it set the stage, I would say, for a lot of the superhero TV shows. Let me know when you're ready, though.
Yeah, it's about there.
There we go. So it's a little jumbly there, but you could still like hear a little bit of the music itself, and like how it just, to me, it set the stage for the TV shows going forward, especially the Batman 66 TV show with Adam West. That was big, and like his beginning in orchestrational music in the very beginning of the show was very unique, and set the example for that modern era. Obviously I sent you guys the videos on it. Like, what was your opinion on it? Like, as far as between now, like what do you guys feel?
So the bit that I'm looking at, I could not tell you that this was Superman.
Really?
I agree.
Like, this is not the Superman that I grew up with, or I've never had the comics, but this is looking at this. If you cut out the beginning credits, and if you just watch it without the sound, that's not Superman. Like, I don't know what it is, but or have we come that far away?
No, we've definitely came far, but technology has improved, right? So we've really came a long way, because I looked at it and I agree exactly what you said. You would not think that was Superman.
Oh,
Unless if it was the big S on his chest. That's the only way they
Yeah, I'm
would give
gonna
it away.
need that S, man.
Yeah.
Need that. I'm thrown off. Like, he's got a cape. Like, yeah, I mean, he's got the cape. He's fiddling around with the rocket ship, like, but his cape is like, it's not a cape. It's a it's winter and I'm cold, so I got a blanket around me. And he's got a cummerbund on.
I mean, that's fair.
Is that him? I think that's him. That or it's the
Well, I do know that this the Superman too. He actually was on an I Love Lucy episode, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, he saved her from like a window location, like in New York City area, and like how those windows just lead straight out. There are no balconies, so kind of like that area. And he was a guest on the actual show itself. I don't know the year, but it's funny just to see how modern superheroes now and how they're depicted versus how they were depicted back then. I mean, take a look at Captain America. I think that was in the 70s, or 80s, where it was that big helmet with a letter A and it was driving a motorcycle. Or look at the Spider-Man movie or TV show that was over in Japan, and he didn't have any abilities. I mean, he had a few abilities, but his main thing was a robot, like a transformer, or like a Zord from Power Rangers. So it's just interesting to see like what you were saying, Stephen, and of course you too, Ro, and like how much modern technology has caught up, how different it is.
Is that cultural? Like you said, Spider-Man where? Somewhere in Asia.
Japan.
Japan.
Okay. Now is it just like a cultural thing that they took, or is that like kind of they brought? You know what I'm saying?
From my understanding, from my memory of like what I have looked at with videos and research and stuff, it is part of a cultural thing too. Yes, because back in the day, that's where a lot of kaiju's and stuff started to form. Obviously, that's where we get Godzilla. We get all those kaiju monsters, and from my understanding is yes, it is like a cultural thing. It's very similar to how some of the Disney attractions are over there, like in China and some of the Asian countries specifically, like the Haunted Mansion that we have at Disneyland and here in Florida. It's completely different than I think it's Hong Kong Disneyland, where it's not based on like paranormal or ghosts or anything like that. It's actually a whole different story that doesn't even touch that. So with the Spider-Man one, I believe it is a cultural thing where it didn't really stick with the audience if they would have made him how he was like when he was created. Obviously, that's changed because Far From Home is practically in Tokyo and China, and that's airing over there. But yeah, no, I believe it was definitely a cultural thing, which they actually introduced that comic book character in the Marvel comics. When was it? I think it was like 3 years ago or so, because they did another Spider-Verse series where it's a culmination of a whole bunch of Spider-Man coming up and going against common villain. Won't go into too much detail because we could be here all night, but basically that was the introduction to that character as well. As his first appearance in the comic books was that. So it's kind of interesting on like how culture has even spanned to here in the US to where now he's in the comic book.
Yeah, all right. It just threw me off with the robots and the Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was basically a Zord version of a single Spider-Man. So yeah, it was interesting. Let's see, number 5 here, we do have Perry Como's Craft Musical Hall. It looks like Perry Como was an American singer who got his start on NBC radio in 1948. Because of his popularity, the cameras were simply brought into the radio station to televise the radio broadcast. so the best way I could probably describe this is one of your examples, Ro, from earlier is maybe Saturday Night Live, where and I honestly want to say like a mixture between Saturday Night Live, and maybe the Howard Stern Show.
Okay.
I want to say,
Like an edge towards time, or
not really like edgy. I want to say more of like possibly the skits and stuff, but you were able to look at the radio host, like how you're able to watch the Howard Stern Show on like on XM radio and stuff. Yeah, but also you can watch it online and like the recordings and stuff. So that's kind of what my interpretation was from that. I mean, do you guys, would you guys compare it to that, or do you have any other examples that you would compare it to?
No.
Do you have any examples that you would compare that to, Steven? Or
I do not. I've never been into like the talk shows and the variety shows. It's never. I couldn't compare it to anything that I've seen.
I mean, if we're the Breakfast Club.
okay,
yeah, that's the same way. It's a radio show, but they have people in there being recorded.
Shady 45.
Yeah, I think it's Hot 97, maybe. I can't remember. There's one in New York that's that they do the same thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. All right. Well, with that, of course, that brings us to the closing of the episode. I believe we've hit, that little marker here where good information for you guys, but obviously, we want to communicate with everyone here. So drop us a comment below, rate us as far as podcast goes, follow us on all social platforms. Let us know how you like this new interpretation of the show, whether it's shorter, but we try to give you guys as much information as possible. And while you're at that, of course, what kind of year do you guys want us to go over? We do know that the older years are a little bit harder, but that's the whole point of research, is being able to research things, learn new things about TV shows, cartoons, stuff like that, especially cartoons, because this year, 1948, there's a lot of things in the cartoons that's it's kind of a little relevant today. So drop us a comment below, let us know.